Hey you guys, Jared Bingle here with Lawn Rescue. I want to thank you for coming back for yet another video. If you're new, hit the like button and subscribe and leave a comment so I know what kind of content to put out. Today I've got 3 different properties to go look at for weed control and fertilization. I'm also going to talk to you guys a little bit about how I get customers, so stick around. So the first out of the 3 yards that I looked at, the owners have some dogs and they have a fenced in backyard, and they were complaining of sandbur in that backyard. And the issue is that when their dogs were running around the backyard, they'd come in limping and they'd find the sandburs in their paws. They called me up and said, hey, we want to get rid of this stuff. How do we do it? I said, okay, well, I'll come out there, take a look at it, see what you got, let you know. So I went up to the property, spoke with the homeowner a little bit. They said that they wanted to get rid of all the weeds and they want to start growing grass back there. And I told them that I would have to take a look at the area, come up with an estimate. I'd shoot it to them that night and see what they thought about the pricing. Now, sandbur is a warm season annual weed, and it grows seeds inside of pods that have barbs or burrs on the outside of it. And when you go walking across it barefooted, they get stuck in your foot and it hurts. Same thing with dogs. The best way to control sandbur is going to be lay down a Preemergent and keep it from popping up. But if it's already there in the yard, next you have to do a Postemergent. Typically what you use for sandbur is 2,4-D, quinclorac, or something with dithiopyr in it. My choice is going to be Celsius. And since the cultivar for this job is going to be Bermuda, Celsius has no heat restrictions and it's not going to harm your Bermuda at all. For you residential viewers out there, Celsius does tend to come with a hefty price tag, but there are other options out there such as Red Zone 2. Add to that, Celsius comes in a 10-ounce bottle and you're only going to use a fraction of an ounce per 1,000 square feet depending on your target weed. Now if you're a commercial applicator like myself, this may be a good option for you when trying to save money for the customer. After taking a walk through the backyard, I did find some good viable grass that is being held back and suppressed by the weeds. Once we get rid of those weeds, give it a little bit of a boost, get the results from the soil test, get our amendments down, I think that grass is going to start growing and filling in. Now there are just a few spots in the yard that are probably going to need some seed, and we'll approach that later on. Oh hun, you're going to have to go faster if you plan on getting the interstate. After getting back to the office later that afternoon, I shot off an estimate to the customer. My plan is going to be, let's take care of the weeds, get the results from the soil test in, get those amendments down, and then we can start trying to grow some seed if it needs any. Some other products that I'm going to be adding to the mixture for tomorrow's application is going to be RGS and aerate, and that's going to prep the soil for any growth that we have in the future. Another product that I'm also going to be adding is Brandt's liquid fertilizer. That's the 1836 NPK, and that's going to be to feed the grass that's already there. I will also be taking a soil sample while I'm there and send it off to the Clemson Agricultural Lab, and it takes about 2 weeks or so to get the results off of that. For the soil test, I'll take core samples from different spots in the yard. I'll put it into the little baggie that they give you that you can pick up for free at the Agricultural Lab or any of the local co-op extension offices. I'll put the information on the bag and on the piece of paper that they also give you, and I'll send it into the lab. After waiting about 2 weeks, they'll email you the results. The results come with a rating for your pH, your phosphorus, and your potassium, as well as other micro and macronutrients. On top of, they'll give you a recommendation down at the bottom as to how much of what to put out and when. So another product that I also use in initial applications is a Preemergent, but we're going to hold off on that until we know if we need to put any seed down or not. And the reason being is if we put a Preemergent down, it's not going to allow the grass seed to germinate like we need it to. That way we don't waste seed, time, or the customer's money. The second yard that I went to look at has about 3,000 square feet of fescue in the front and about 7,000 square feet of Bermuda in the back. And the reason they called me is because they have bare spots in the Bermuda and they don't know why. My recommendation was do a soil test, so I got the sample and sent it off to the lab, and it should be here in about 2 weeks. The customer also reported to me that there's no issues with the fescue in the front. However, when I did my walkthrough, which is very important for you guys, is that I found that there's some rust fungi in the front yard in the fescue. I really encourage you guys, whether you're a residential owner or you're a commercial applicator, to get down into the yard and into the grass and get to know it. That way you know what it likes and what it doesn't like. Now, rust fungus is not an immediately dangerous fungi to your lawn, but over time it can give it that orange color to it, and nobody wants that. You want that deep green look. So my treatment for rust in the lawn is going to be Eagle 20 EW. It's a liquid fungicide. Its application rate is 1.2 ounces per 1,000 square feet on a monthly basis. It is both a pre and post-emergent fungicide, and it treats a plethora of different diseases. I'll put the link in the description below where you can find this product. Rust is typically found in grass types that like shade, such as tall fescue and Georgia, and is not generally found in your warm season grasses such as your centipede and your Bermuda. The best post-emergent treatment, I say, is a good pre-emergent treatment to stay ahead of the disease process. Another issue that I'm aware of that the Bermudagrass is suffering from is the fact that we haven't had rain for at least a month here. The fescue in the front does have irrigation and it's looking very well, minus the fact that there's the rust fungus in the lawn. Once I get the soil test results back, I can then make a comprehensive treatment plan as to how to get the Bermuda back where it needs to be. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, that's nice, but how do you get these customers? And I'm going to tell you. The method of obtaining leads that I've had the most success with thus far is going to be the Nextdoor app. There's a bunch of different routes you can take, from the online route, which is a website, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so much more, or you can go down a little bit more old school route, which is doing door knocking, hangers, cold calling, mailers, and such. I typically don't go that route. I stay more online, especially with the Nextdoor app, because I get a lot of leads that way. Facebook is good for having just a general online social media presence, and it's also good for telling your day-to-day story and showing progress. You can use Facebook ads, but that costs money, and it's a real pain in the butt if you don't know what you're doing. Google is another really good option for just a basic online presence. On your profile, you can put a call button up there, or you can put a link to your website and generate leads that way. The problem is that if you don't do search engine optimization, which is very confusing for the average user, it's going to take a very long period of time for you to get generic leads. Google AdWords is a very good way to get leads quickly. The issue is it does cost money, and you better know what you're doing with it as well. I generally don't use Google AdWords. I just use the free version of Google for my business. The Nextdoor app is a great asset when it comes to getting leads and getting your business out in front of customers locally. It is free to use. They do have an option for paid advertising, to which I do use, but you don't have to do the paid advertising. If you do decide to go down the paid advertising route on the Nextdoor app, I love it because it lets you select individual zip codes to put your business in front of the customer. In doing so, you put your business and your services in front of potential customers in this specific zip code instead of 2 or 3 zip codes over. And the reason that we want to do this is so that we keep our route density nice and tight to help save us money. Think about it like this. If you're driving 30 minutes between jobs and you have 4 different jobs to do, that's 2 hours worth of time. At $50 an hour, you're missing out on $100 a day. Multiply that by 5 days, that's $500 in a week that you're missing out on. Something else that I've been seeing on similar channels is the use of door hangers. And in those areas, it might be just fine to use and they have good conversion rates. In this area, I don't see those conversion rates to justify doing that. With all these different methods available, they're all part of one bigger picture, and that is the funnel. And by this I mean you take your Facebook page and your Nextdoor app and your Twitter, and you put a link for your website and all of these different methods. And once they click on that, they get sent to one specific central area, and that is your website, where you've got pricing and services that you offer, and possibly even a scheduling option as well. So let's say, for instance, you use Facebook ads. An ad pops up in front of Barbara Jean and it takes her over to your Facebook page. From there, she can see all the different pictures and videos that you've put up about your business, and she decides, hey, I want to get a hold of them. So what does she do? She clicks on your link to your website, and it shoots over to your website where she can see all the different pricing options that you offer. From there, she'll decide if she wants to use your service, and on your website you can put up an email me or a call now or some kind of button like that where they can get a hold of you. Some websites you can also put up a scheduling option to where it shows your calendar, and they can just go in and pick out the individual options that they want or services that you offer and schedule it without even having to talk to anybody. And then you'll go out to the property, show up, do an estimate or walk through or provide the service, and then you make money. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, Jared, that's a long and drawn out process. And it's supposed to be that way because you're going to generate leads from all different levels of that funnel. You know, one person that just wants somebody there quickly will click on the ad and go over to your Facebook page and then just message you straight from there. But somebody that wants to dig deeper and get more info and reviews will go through the entire funnel before deciding, you know what, I want to call on rescue, have them come out and take a look at my yard. And in doing so, you can cater to both types of potential customers. From all this, we can learn that there's not one right or wrong way to do advertising. It's a mixture of different methods, and it depends on your business type, and the kind of customer that you want to attract. Well guys, that's all I've got time for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. As always, hit the like button and subscribe to help me out, and I'll see you in the next video.